Hello everybody and welcome back to Red Eagle Politics. Make sure you guys like this video down below and subscribe to the channel if you are new. So in the last video, we did our Senate prediction for the month of July 2025. And in today's video, we're going to be doing the governor's prediction for 2025-2026. So we're going to start off with the 2025. There's two. We have a race in Virginia. We have a race in New Jersey. And then we're going to be moving on to 2026, and we're going to be filling out the remainder of these governorships. So a lot of people will be wondering why we have so many filled in already. Why is Kentucky blue? I'm sure we're getting some comments about that right now. And that's because they currently have a Democratic governor. It's very likely to flip in 2027. This is not a prediction map for 2027 or 2028 because you have a lot of states like North Carolina, Washington. They do their governor's races in presidential years. So we'll fill this map out, but we're going to start off by doing 2025. Then we'll do 2026, and we're going to work our way down from the safe states for either column to the likely margin states to the lean margin states and then the toss-up states, you name it. But first, I have to tell you guys about our great friends over at Chalk. Our country just witnessed Donald Trump overcome political persecution, an assassination attempt, and the entire deep state to retake the presidency with a historic victory. And one secret ingredient allowed him to do it, and it's called testosterone. And what most people don't realize is that testosterone makes men willing and eager to take on challenges. Sadly, too many men have lost their fight, and that's exactly how the globalists want it. They want us weak, out of shape, and full of estrogen and microplastics with low T, which is why we're excited to partner with Chalk. They offer a whole line of products formulated to increase your energy, focus, detoxify your body, and clinically studied boost testosterone. Ingredients in the Chalk Male Vitality Stack have been clinically studied to boost free testosterone in 87% in just 21 days. Unlike with gimmicky vegetable pills or powder, you will feel the difference, and they have the clinical studies to back it up. And right now, you can get 25% off your Chalk subscription, not just one time, but for life. So go to chalk.com, spelled CHOQ.com, and use the promo code REDEAGLE. That's 25% off any subscription for life, and you can cancel it at any time. All right, guys, back to the video. 2025, we have Virginia and we have New Jersey. Virginia, Winsome Sears is the Republican nominee. He's not running a phenomenal campaign so far. Abigail Spanberger is not trailing too far behind in the polls, but she has a lot of money, a lot of connections. I think she's going to end up winning by a likely margin when it's all said and done. Now, New Jersey, I think, is going to be more competitive. I think it's going to be closer. Jack Ciattarelli's the Republican nominee running against Mickey Sherrill, who barely got by in a very divided Democrat field. I do think that it's going to be close. The Democrats, I think, are going to hold it, but I think it's going to be relatively competitive. Phil Murphy's not popular. He's outgoing. You have a Republican that has proven to be a solid performer in these off-year elections. We'll see what happens. I think it's a possible flip, but right now I think the Democrats are probably still favored, so we'll keep it in the Democrat column for now. So now we'll move on to 2026, and we'll fill out the safe Republican governorships, and then we will do the safe Democrat governorships. So we have Idaho, Wyoming, South Dakota, Nebraska, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Texas, I think will go by 10 plus, Tennessee, Alabama, South Carolina, and Florida will be in the safe Republican column for sure. I think Vermont is another one. I know it's a strange circumstance. It's one of the bluest states in the country, but they have a very liberal Republican governor that they keep electing for one reason or another. So out of the gate, Republicans will start off with 20 that will be in their column for sure by 10 points or more. Now, Democrats, they'll get Hawaii. They'll get California. I think that this is something that is an interesting race to watch because a D+12 victory is not big enough for them and could cost the Democrats the House. So watch out for that. You have Colorado in the safe Democrat column. You will have Maryland. You will have Connecticut. And honestly, that might even be close to it. I think Illinois You're going to get a new governor. They'll probably grow to hate him too. He'll underperform. Who knows? You run the right Republican in 2030, they could knock him off. That's just how Illinois operates. But as of right now, I don't really see it. Massachusetts is another one where you will probably see the Democrat win by over 10. These are definitely less polarized races for sure. So they only have 13 out of the gate. Now, keep in mind, Republicans would like to, expand their governorships where they can. We don't have any flips just yet, but we're about to get one because Kansas is likely going to flip because you have a Democrat governor there who kind of won on a fluke, but did enough to stay popular, narrowly won re-election in 2022 in Laura Kelly. I think Republicans are going to be able to flip that back this time around without any hesitation. Alaska could be competitive. Mary Peltola might run on the Democrat side. I still think Republicans are very likely going to hold it. I think she is overrated. So you have those two. Also, I think New Hampshire would be another one that would qualify for this category because Kelly Ayotte, she's relatively popular up there. She won by a decent margin with Trump on the ballot. I think she's going to do just fine in 2026, just like Chris Sununu did just fine in 2018. Also, the state of Nevada. Incumbent governors typically overperform. There's few exceptions. We'll talk about one or two of them in this video. But Joe Lombardo is relatively popular. Even if he faces a decent Democrat candidate on the other side, he's very likely to win by more than he did in 2022, if not by much more than he did in 22. So now we will fill out the likely Democrat states. Oregon, they don't like their governors very much, despite it being a deep blue state, D plus 10 or more. But still, this is a state that should have no problem in this midterm electing a Democrat governor. You have Rhode Island, Dan McKee, not super popular. Maybe it could be competitive. It's a little early, but I think it probably stays blue. Maine, I think, will stay in the Democrat column, could very well be by more than 10 points when it is all said and done. So we have 10 states remaining that we are going to fill out in either the lean column, which would be 2 to 5 points of a margin of victory, or the pure toss-up tilt column, which would be an under 2-point victory. So we'll start off with New York. This is interesting because you have a deep blue state that is a very sizable state in population, has not elected a Republican at the presidential level since the 80s, has not elected a Republican governor in about 20 plus years or so. I think that this year could be the year, but I still think that it is going to take a lot in order to move the state even further. And Kathy Hochul's not popular, but she might do just enough to get by in a primary, just enough to get by in a general, but it's going to be very close. I think it's even going to be closer than her 2022 win. And what that would do is possibly cost the Democrats a couple more House seats and help the Republicans win the House. But as for New York itself, I still think that it would take a lot for Republicans to win it. Elise Stefanik could give Kathy Hochul a run for her money, but will she be able to get it done? New York is still New York. It's a big Democrat state, but maybe not as Democrat as years past. So that is true. Now, Pennsylvania, this is an interesting one because Josh Shapiro won by 14, 15 points in 2022 when you had a Democrat in the White House. Usually incumbent governors expand on their margin of victory, but he's kind of trying to be a nationalized figure for one. For two, he faced virtually zero Republican opposition the last time around. He might face a lot of Republican opposition this time around. I still think he's going to win. I think he's going to win by, about 5, but still, it's going to be a tighter race for him, and that could save Republicans a couple of House seats and could give them motivation moving forward in Pennsylvania in 2028, as the voter registration data does suggest. Now, Georgia, Democrats, we don't even know who they're running for their candidate. Very likely could be Keisha Lance Bottom. She's not really all that solid. Republicans, they could have a divided field as well. Burt Jones has jumped in. You have Chris Carr that's going for it. We'll see what happens, but as of right now, I think that it's the Republicans' race to lose. They still do better statewide in Georgia, and you have more solid candidates on the Republican side than candidates on the Democrat side. So out of the gate, you will see them take Georgia, the swing state governorship. We'll move on to Ohio. which again could very well be competitive. Vivek Ramaswamy rubs a lot of people the wrong way. I know that a lot of people that watch this channel like him, and that's true. I would vote for him in the general election without hesitation over a Democrat if I lived in Ohio. But still, he does kind of have this appeal problem. Either way, I think he wins. I just think it's going to be maybe a little bit closer than a lot of people would like. And if he does a good job, then I think he would have no problem expanding his margin of victory in his reelection bid 4 years from now. But still, I think that Ohio will be a lean Republican, Iowa possibly as well, because you have a strong candidate on the Democrat side, Rob Sand. You have an unpopular Republican governor in Kim Reynolds, who's outgoing. And you may have a strong candidate on the Republican side, and we might bump that up as time goes on. But as of right now, we'll keep it in the lean Republican column. So on the Democrat side, New Mexico, it's an open seat, but I still think the Democrats would be favored. We don't know a lot about the race yet. Minnesota could very well be an open seat as well, but if it's not, Tim Walz has lost a lot of popularity. The race would be more about him than anything else, and that's not really all that solid if you want to win by a lot, but Minnesota's Minnesota, as we covered in the last video. It's very likely to stay in Democrat hands. So that leaves us with 3 swing states that could be competitive in Wisconsin, Michigan, and Arizona. So we'll start off with Wisconsin. And this is a state with an incumbent Democrat governor who's basically the Joe Biden of Wisconsin and Tony Evers. He is very likely at this point, from what I've heard, to run for re-election. I will say that he very well could lose. Republicans typically are able to prevent third-term Democrat governors in Wisconsin, and vice versa, with the exception of Tommy Thompson, who was kind of a rare exception in the Badger State. But it depends on the Republican candidate. I think that if Eric Hovde jumps in, you could make the case he'd go out there and win, and you could get this flip from an incumbent Democrat to a Republican, even if you have a Republican president in the White House, which is somewhat unprecedented, but it can happen because these statewide races are a little bit less polarized. But Wisconsin, I do believe that it's flippable. It is. But as of right now, I would say Democrats would win more so than not, because we don't even know who the Republican candidate's going to be, and we don't know if Eric Hovde's going to run. But I think if Hovde would run, tilt R is more than fair. Now, Michigan, this is a unique circumstance because you have a 3-way race. Mike Duggan, the popular mayor of Detroit, who's somewhat of a centrist, if not center-left, is running in the largest blue county in the state, nonetheless, Wayne County. Even though it got redder, it still gave Kamala Harris over Trump over 200,000 plus votes. And a lot of those voters would vote for Duggan. That's a problem that would persist, where the Democrats, they don't know who they're going to put up. The Republicans are united behind John James, and you have a third-party spoiler that probably takes more votes away from the Democrats than the Republicans in a key area of the state that the Democrats usually win. So that's a disaster. If it stays a 3-way race, John James is the favorite in Michigan. They will have a Republican governor once again. So that leaves us with Arizona. Now, Katie Hobbs is not very popular, and you have a state that has transformed drastically. It went from being a pure toss-up to voting for Trump by a likely margin. It is about as red as New Jersey is blue. And it's changed a lot since the last time they had a governor's race where Katie Hobbs prevailed after like a week and a half of counting. So I do think that Andy Biggs is a strong enough candidate to go out there, win the primary, galvanize enough voters, and defeat her, because she has been very weak, relatively unpopular, and this is a state that is not the same in terms of its electoral makeup as it was the last time Katie Hobbs won an election. Yes, it will likely be close, but I give Biggs the edge. So Republicans with 29, Democrats with 21. Democrats pick up Virginia, Republicans pick up Michigan, they pick up Arizona, and they pick up Kansas. So anyways, guys, thanks for watching this video. Like this video down below, comment down below, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell for notifications so you never miss another video. Follow me on social media. The links are all in the description down below, and I will see you guys in the next one. Red Eagle out.